Have you ever heard a child talk about imaginary friends? It's usually harmless, even cute. But what if your child insists they're real, too real? My daughter started talking about a family that lives underground. At first, I dismissed it. Kids say the strangest things, right? But then I heard her talking to someone in the basement. And someone whispered back. We moved into this house 3 weeks ago. Nestled on the edge of town, it was an old farmhouse surrounded by acres of neglected land. My husband, David, loved the quiet. I loved the price. And our 5-year-old daughter, Lily, loved the open space to run and play. From the first day, Lily was different. She was always an imaginative child, but her stories took a strange turn the moment we stepped through the front door. That first night, as I tucked her into bed, she stared up at me with her wide, solemn eyes and said, "They live down there, Mommy. They've been waiting for me." I froze. "Who's been waiting for you, sweetheart?" She pointed at the floor. "My other family. They live under the house." I laughed it off. What else could I do? Kids make things up all the time. But something about the way she said it, it didn't feel like play. The next morning, I found her in the basement. I hadn't even unlocked the door yet, but there she was, standing at the bottom of the steps, talking softly into the shadows. "Lily," I called out, panic rising. "You're not supposed to be down there." She turned to look at me, smiling. I wanted to say good morning to the hollow ones. That's what she called them. The hollow ones. The basement was cold, musty, and unfinished. A single light bulb hung from the ceiling, and the stone walls looked like they hadn't been touched in decades. I grabbed Lily's hand and took her back upstairs. I told David about it that night, expecting him to laugh. But he didn't. "Maybe she's just lonely," he said. "New place, new routine. Kids invent stuff when they're trying to adjust." But it didn't stop. Each day, Lily would sneak off to the basement. I began locking the door, but she always found a way down there. I once caught her slipping a fork through the floor vent and whispering, "Here, you can borrow this. Mommy has more." Then came the drawings. She used to draw cats, princesses, and flowers. Now, her pictures were filled with twisted figures with hollow eyes and stretched mouths. Beneath each drawing, she scrawled their names: Mother beneath, brother teeth, baby with no face. I showed them to David, but he brushed it off as just dark imagination. One night, I heard Lily giggling. It was past midnight. I tiptoed to her room, expecting her to be talking in her sleep. But she was sitting up, staring at her open closet door. "They're funny," she said. "Brother Teeth says your shoes taste like paper." I turned on the light. The room was empty. Closet bare. No one there. I tried to get her to tell me where she learned these names, but she just giggled and said, "They've always been with me. They followed me here. They live under everyone's house, but they like mine best." That day, I called a child psychologist. The earliest appointment was 2 weeks away. The next morning, I found muddy footprints in the kitchen. Small, bare, human, but none of us had been outside. That's when I installed the baby monitor in the basement. I disguised it behind a stack of paint cans. If she was talking to herself, or worse, someone else, I wanted to know. That night, I stayed up listening. For the first few hours, it was just silence. Then, around 2:13 a.m., I heard her voice. "Why can't I stay longer?" Then a voice answered. It wasn't human. It was soft, wet, like leaves scraping across a window mixed with the sound of breath through water. "Soon, child. Soon, you will stay forever." I dropped the monitor. David didn't believe me. He said it was probably feedback, a glitch, my imagination. But I knew what I heard. The next day, I went down to the basement myself. I swept every corner, every crevice. Then I saw it. Behind an old shelf, tucked in the far wall, was a wooden door I hadn't noticed before. Small, barely 3 feet tall. Covered in scratch marks. No knob, just a rusted iron ring. When I pulled it open, a wave of cold air rushed out. And a smell, earthy, sweet, and rotting. There was a tunnel. A dirt tunnel, winding down into the darkness. Lily walked up beside me and whispered, "That's where they live." I slammed the door shut and nailed it closed. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, wondering how deep that tunnel went. Who or what had built it, and why it led directly beneath our home. At 3 a.m., I woke up to the sound of something scratching beneath the floor. Long, slow drags. Then taps. Like fingers on wood. The next morning, the door I had sealed shut was wide open. And Lily was gone. Her voice echoed from below. "Don't worry, Mommy. I'm with my other family now." I stood at the top of that yawning black hole, heart pounding, and took a trembling step forward. They always say a mother knows best, that her instincts will guide her, especially when her child is in danger. But no one ever tells you what to do when the danger isn't of this world. My daughter disappeared into a tunnel beneath our house, a tunnel leading to a place she called home. I had two choices: go after her or never see her again. I chose wrong. The tunnel swallowed every sound. As I stepped inside, the air shifted. Thick, humid, and bitter with the scent of wet soil and decaying roots. My flashlight, already flickering, cast jagged shadows on the dirt walls. Each footstep echoed unnaturally, like something else was mimicking my movement just behind me. "Lily!" I called out, my voice cracking. Nothing. No echo. No reply. Just the soft crunch of earth beneath my shoes. The deeper I went, the more wrong everything felt. Time stretched and bent. My phone showed no signal, no time, no battery percentage, just a blank, pulsing screen. Then I heard it. A soft lullaby, hummed in a child's voice. A song I used to sing to Lily at bedtime. Musical note, sleep little star, in the sky so far, musical note. I turned a corner in the tunnel and saw a flicker of movement. Tiny feet, pale and bare, disappearing around another bend. "Lily!" I cried, running after them. The tunnel narrowed, forcing me to crouch. My hands scraped against the walls, my clothes coated in cold mud. I didn't care. My daughter was down here, somewhere. But then, I stopped. The tunnel opened into a chamber. The walls were lined with dolls. Hundreds of them, made of clay and bone and straw. Some with button eyes. Some with hollow sockets. Each one nailed to the wall with iron pins. They stared, silent and accusing. In the center of the room stood a child-sized table, set for a tea party. 5 tiny chairs. 5 cups. 1 seat was empty. On the wall behind the table was a mural, crudely painted in what looked like rust or dried blood. It showed a girl holding hands with 3 tall, twisted figures. One had teeth instead of eyes. One had no face at all. And one looked like me. I took a step back, breath catching in my throat. They made a place for her. I wasn't alone. A soft shuffling sound came from behind the dolls. Something breathing. Watching. "Lily!" I whispered. A hand emerged from the dark. Small. Human. My daughter stepped into the light. She looked different. Her hair hung limp and dirty. Her eyes, once a bright hazel, were darker, like storm clouds. Her skin was pale, and she didn't blink. "Hi, Mommy," she said. I ran to her, dropping to my knees, wrapping her in my arms. "Oh my God, Lily, I've been looking everywhere. We have to go now." But she didn't hug me back. "They don't want me to leave," she whispered. And then I heard them. Voices. All around me. Dozens of them. Whispering from the walls, the ceiling, the ground. "She belongs here. She was born from the hollow. You gave her to us." I stood, holding Lily's hand. "No. She's coming with me." The chamber began to tremble. Dust fell from the ceiling. The dolls' heads turned, every single one, facing us in unison. Then a figure stepped out from behind the wall. It was tall, 7 feet at least, dressed in rags and earth. Its head was long and cracked like tree bark, and where its mouth should have been were hundreds of tiny, gnashing teeth. Brother teeth. He grinned at me, or maybe that's all he could do. "She is ours now," he rasped. I held Lily tighter, backing toward the tunnel. "You can't have her." From the corner of the room, another figure crawled into view. This one was smaller, faster. No eyes. No nose. Just a blank, featureless face. Baby with no face. It twitched, tilting its head toward Lily. "They raised me," she said softly. "Before I was yours." My stomach dropped. "What are you talking about?" "I had them first," she whispered. "Then you pulled me out of the ground. But I never forgot." She slipped her hand from mine. "No, Lily," I shouted, reaching for her. But the ground cracked between us, opening wide into a pit of roots and shadows. The hollow ones encircled her. "You're not her real family," said a voice that sounded like mine, but twisted. Older. Empty. I ran for her, but my foot caught on something and I fell, face first into the dirt. By the time I looked up, the chamber was dark. And she was gone. Again. I crawled blindly through the tunnels for what felt like hours before finding the staircase back into my basement. I don't remember how I made it upstairs, only that I woke up on the kitchen floor with dirt under my nails and Lily's drawings pinned to the fridge. Except these weren't hers. They were new. Drawings of me, standing beside the hollow ones, smiling. And beneath one of them, Scrawled in red crayon were the words. "Come back soon, Mommy. We're making room for you too." She came back from the underground once. But she was never the same. Now the house listens when I speak, shadows crawl in places light should reach, and every night, the hole in my basement reopens, even after I bury it. My daughter calls to me in my dreams. But last night, she whispered something new. "They want you now, Mommy. And this time, I think I want to go." I should have run. After crawling out of that tunnel in the basement, filthy and trembling, I tried everything to return to normal. I blocked the basement door with furniture. I called contractors to fill in the earth below. None of them returned my calls. The few who came by walked into the basement, only to come out moments later with empty eyes and trembling hands. They left without speaking a word. And I never saw them again. Every night, the drawings changed. They were always in red crayon, always drawn in a child's hand. But I had burned all of Lily's crayons the night she disappeared underground. I watched them turn to ash. Still, every morning, more drawings. Me with long black fingers for hands. Me with my mouth stretched open wide, too wide. Me with 3 tall figures beside me, and 1 small girl in the middle. Lily. Sometimes I swore I could hear her behind the walls. I tore through sheetrock one night, driven by the sound of her laughter, only to find tunnels snaking behind every wall of the house. Places no one should fit, but clearly something did. The hole in the basement wouldn't stay filled. I tried concrete, gravel, holy water, everything. But it always reopened. Whiter. Hungrier. And then she returned. It was 2:17 a.m. when I heard the front door creak open. I grabbed a flashlight and a knife and crept downstairs. There, in the doorway, barefoot and smiling, stood Lily. She looked cleaner this time. Hair brushed. Wearing the yellow sundress she loved. Her eyes sparkled like they used to. But it wasn't her. Not really. "Hi, Mommy," she said. "I missed you." My heart clenched. "Lily, where did you go?" "I told you. I live underground now. With my real family." I knelt beside her, trembling. "Then why are you here?" "They said you're ready." The words hit me like ice water. "Ready for what?" She tilted her head. "To meet the mother." The flashlight flickered. The room dimmed, even though the lamp beside us should have lit the space. The shadows stretched unnaturally, licking the corners of the ceiling like smoke. "They have a mother?" I whispered. She nodded slowly. "Every family does." Before I could speak again, she turned and walked back toward the basement door. I followed, powerless to resist. When I stepped into the basement, the hole was open again, but this time carved steps spiraled downward. Smooth, symmetrical, as if designed. "Come meet her," Lily said, descending. I hesitated only a moment, then followed. The deeper we went, the warmer it got. Not like summer warmth, womb warmth. Wet. Claustrophobic. Alive. The air pulsed. Eventually, we entered a massive cavern. The walls were soft and breathing, like lungs made of mud and muscle. Dozens, no hundreds, of children danced in a circle, humming that same lullaby Lily once sang. Musical note, sleep little star, in the sky so far, musical note. Each child had something wrong with them. One had glass eyes, another had hands backward, one had no mouth but hummed anyway. In the center of the circle was a stone cradle. And inside it something vast. Not physically. Physically it was small. A pulsing mass of shadow and teeth and tendrils, swaddled in velvet. But it felt vast. Ancient. Infinite. Lily approached the cradle and gently touched one of the tendrils. "This is her," she whispered. "The hollow mother." I stared, paralyzed. The thing in the cradle turned its many eyes toward me. My knees buckled. A voice pierced my skull, not heard but felt. "You took what was mine. Now I take what is yours." And then I saw it. Not a vision. A memory. Of the night I found Lily on my doorstep. A baby wrapped in cloth. No note. Just a whisper in my mind. "She's yours now." I had been trying for years to get pregnant. I thought she was a miracle. But she wasn't a gift. She was a trade. And the debt had come due. Suddenly, the children stopped dancing. Every one of them turned to me. "It's time." The walls quaked. Roots slithered from above, wrapping around my arms and legs, lifting me off the ground. I screamed. The hollow mother pulsed with anticipation. But Lily, she screamed too. "No!" She ran to me, grabbing the roots, pulling with all her strength. "She's mine," she shouted. "You said she'd stay if I brought her." The hollow mother hissed. The roots dropped me. Darkness exploded across the cavern like a storm. When I awoke, I was alone, lying in the center of my basement floor, covered in mud. My arms wrapped around nothing. The hole was gone, the tunnel sealed. But Lily was gone too. Again. It's been 5 days since I returned. The house is silent now. The whispers have stopped. The drawings haven't reappeared. But every morning at 2:17 a.m., I find muddy footprints leading from the basement stairs to my bed. And this morning, I found a note on my pillow, scrawled in red crayon. She's not yours anymore, but you're still hers. The hole is sealed. My daughter is gone. But the house hasn't forgotten. Every night at 2:17 a.m., something walks the halls, its footsteps muddy and wrong. She left a note, one line burned into my soul. She's not yours anymore, but you're still hers. I thought escaping the underground saved me. But now I realize, I never left. I tried to pretend it wasn't real, that the note was some kind of nightmare, that the footsteps were my imagination. But deep down I knew. The house was no longer mine. It was hers. The Hollow Mother. She doesn't live underground. The underground lives in her. And now, somehow, it's bleeding through the cracks into my world. It started with small things. On the 6th night, I awoke choking. Dirt in my mouth. Fingernails caked in soil. My bedsheet stained with red crayon markings, circles, spirals, tunnels. On the 7th, I heard Lily whispering. From inside my closet. She kept repeating the same phrase. Dig, Mommy. She's waiting. I didn't. I wouldn't. Instead, I packed a bag and left the house. Checked into a cheap motel 3 towns over. I thought I could outrun it. But the second night in the motel, I woke up to a soft knock on the door. 3 taps. Then silence. I didn't answer. 3 more taps. Then a scraping sound like nails against wood. When I finally looked through the peephole, no one was there. Except a single sheet of paper taped to the door. A child's drawing. Me. Standing next to a giant black figure made of roots and mouths. A cradle of bones between us. And at the bottom, in that same red crayon. Come home. I tore the paper apart, burned it in the sink. But the fire didn't touch it. It just absorbed the flames. The next morning, I was back in my own bed. I didn't drive. I didn't pack. I didn't check out. But here I was. And my fingernails were full of dirt again. I was losing time. Losing myself. By the 10th night, the world outside felt distant. The house hummed constantly. The floors pulsed faintly beneath my feet. And the basement door? It was wide open. No hole, no tunnel, but the air was warm again. Breathing. Watching. I started to see things. Things that weren't mine. Family portraits that didn't belong. Me in a wedding dress beside a faceless man. A nursery with vines growing through the crib. Crayon drawings I never drew, pinned to the fridge like trophies. One showed me cradling a baby. But not Lily. The thing in the drawing had too many limbs. No eyes. But it was smiling. On the 12th night, I gave up trying to sleep. I sat in the hallway with a kitchen knife, flashlight, and recorder. At 2:17 a.m., the lights flickered. The walls stretched. And then, Lily walked into the hallway. But not like before. This Lily was older. Taller. She looked 15 or 16 now. Her eyes were dull, like glass marbles. Her voice was hollow. Mommy, she said. You have to come. She's waiting for you. I held the knife in front of me. You're not Lily. A sad smile crossed her face. I was, she said softly. But she changed me. You'll understand soon. You'll love her too. She reached out. I stepped back. The walls behind me pulsed, opening like a mouth. The house moaned. Lily grabbed my wrist. And suddenly, we weren't in the house anymore. We were beneath it, but deeper this time. Deeper than the cavern. Deeper than the tunnels. This place was made of nothing. Endless dark. No floor, no ceiling. Just a void, filled with soft humming. And in the middle, a chair. A high-backed ancient thing. Made of bone and black wood. And seated on it, the Hollow Mother. She was everything and nothing. Her body was made of parts, flesh, wood, fabric, earth. Her face changed constantly, shifting between all the people I'd ever loved, and some I had never seen. Lily knelt before her like a disciple. She's ready, Lily whispered. I couldn't move. Couldn't scream. The Hollow Mother reached out. One finger touched my forehead. And in that moment, I remembered everything. Not just Lily's arrival, but before that. A ritual. A wish. I had gone to a woman in the woods. Asked for a child. She warned me. You must give what you love most when she comes of age. I agreed. But when Lily turned 6, I couldn't do it. I ran. I locked it all away. Until now. Until the debt came back. And the hollow mother was here to collect. Her voice entered my mind like 1,000 whispering mouths. You gave her life. Now give her purpose. She must become the next cradle. I screamed, breaking from the vision. I was back in the hallway. Alone. The knife melted in my hand, the flashlight cracked in two. But the message had been received. They want me to choose. Give Lily up. Or let her be reborn as something else, something sacred and wrong. Either way, the hollow mother wins. Tomorrow is the 13th night. The final night. I've cleaned the house. Laid out the dress Lily wore on her 6th birthday. Lit candles. If this is a choice, I'll make it. But I won't give her up again. If the hollow mother wants us both, she can have us. Together. Even if it means going underground forever. Tonight is the 13th night. The candles are lit. The house hums louder than ever. Lily's dress hangs on her old door, still stained with dirt. I made my decision. I'm not running anymore. She's waiting for me underground. And this time, I'm going all the way. Even if I don't come back. The house was awake when I rose. The floor throbbed like a heartbeat. The windows had fogged over, though it wasn't cold outside. It was never cold anymore. At 2:17 a.m. exactly, the basement door opened itself. No wind. No noise. Just an invitation. I didn't hesitate. The moment my foot touched the first basement step, the air changed. It smelled sweet, like rotting fruit, wet moss, and something older. At the base of the stairs, the hole was back. Dug wider this time. And waiting beside it, Lily. But she was different now. Older still. Taller than me. Her hair longer, coiled with roots and twigs. Her eyes glowed faintly red. She didn't speak. Just extended her hand. I took it. And we descended. The tunnel curved down in impossible angles, corkscrewing into the earth. The soil here pulsed with a dull crimson light. The air grew warmer with every step, thick with whispers. And the deeper we went, the more I forgot. My name. My house. My reflection. It all peeled away like dead skin. Finally, we reached the cradle. It wasn't a room. Not really. It was a space where time bent backward. Where a tree grew upside down from the ceiling, its roots reaching into a pit filled with faces. Eyes blinked up at me. Mouths gurgled ancient lullabies. The hollow mother rose from the pit. Her body had grown. No longer merely shifting flesh and root, but something bigger, woven from generations of grief, motherhood, sacrifice. Her smile contained too many teeth. She didn't speak. She didn't have to. I knew why I was here. This was the choice I had made years ago. Give my child, in exchange for a child. And now it was time to complete the cycle. Lily turned toward me. Her voice was soft, as though wind passed through her hollow chest. You gave me life. Now give me death, so I can become. I fell to my knees. I can't, I whispered. I won't. But the hollow mother didn't wait for my answer. Roots exploded from the ground, wrapping around my ankles, wrists, chest. Pulling me back. Lily stepped into the pit. Her body unraveled, bone by bone, thread by thread. Her eyes never left mine, even as her face dissolved into roots and light. And then she was gone, replaced by a new shape, a new form. A cradle. A cocoon of flesh and bark cradling a flickering red ember at its center. The beginning of something unspeakable. A new child. The hollow mother reached down and plucked the cocoon from the pit, cradling it like a newborn. She smiled with something that almost looked like love. Then her gaze turned to me. I was no longer bound. I was standing at the edge of the pit, sobbing, shaking. She stepped closer, laid the cocoon into my arms. And I accepted it, because I realized the truth. I hadn't come down here to save Lily. I came to replace her. And the hollow mother had given me exactly what I asked for. It's been 3 weeks. I'm back in the house. The candles are gone. The tunnel is sealed. There's no basement anymore, just smooth concrete. And in the nursery upstairs, the new child sleeps. It's not Lily. Not really. But it cries like her. It moves like her. It smiles like her. And some nights, it whispers to me. Not words. Just a hum. The same hum I heard underground. I rock it gently. I feed it. I hold it close. But I know the hollow mother is still watching. Because last night, the baby opened its eyes. And inside each iris, I saw my reflection, smiling back. If you're still listening, tell me, would you have made the same choice? Would you trade everything you love for one more chance? Or do you think the hollow mother already has you too? Tell me in the comments. And whatever you do, never follow the hum. Because once you hear it, it never stops.